A couple of years ago now, a drone flyer in Philadelphia awoke to the news and a letter from the FAA to confirm that they were proposing fines totaling $182,000 for flights he had made on YouTube live with his drones. The drones included several models of DJI drone, and the FAA felt that he was in violation of several of their regulations. There were warnings given, and this was actually confirmed in the FAA proposed fine letter, within which they stated on or about the 22nd of October 2019, the FAA sent you, the drone flyer, a warning letter regarding a previous flight involving a SUAS that was allegedly operated in violation of the federal aviation regulations. They also stated in the same letter that on or about the 4th of November 2019 and the 6th of November 2019, the FAA provided the drone flyer with counselling and education regarding requirements for safe operation of a SUAS under the federal aviation regulations. This education and warning was not heeded, and the FAA then moved to propose the fines against the pilot, totaling $182,000. Today, for the first time, that pilot, Michael, known via his YouTube channel PhillyDroneLife, is ready to talk to Geeksvana. A lot of your viewers and the people that watch your content will know Mikey that we see on screen very, very well. It's obviously a larger-than-life character who is ready to perform and offer an exciting and engaging experience. But who is Mikey behind the camera? Who is Mikey off screen?
So what Michael is just Michael. I've learned that the best way to be is to just be yourself, because I don't to hold or to maintain an act would be crazy for me. Now, with saying that, you're all thinking, well, then that's the real Mikey. Almost. So when I'm on camera, what I do is I basically am who I am. What you see on camera is who Mikey is at the house. However, I just bump it up from about a 6 to about a 9 or a 12. Okay. So that's where all the wowzers, but do I still say that? Yeah, I actually do still say wowzers. I'm still crazy. I'm laughing, looking for jokes and everything. It's been my whole way of life. It's the way I grew up. I suffered with a lot of, not mom there, not dad there. So I had to find my own way, and I found it in comedy.
Okay.
So I found that laughing at things made things a little bit easier to get through. And so I went with that, and then I became the class clown. Everybody loved me, but nobody wanted to kiss me. Nobody wanted to date me. Nobody would go out with me because I was the big fat guy, and I embarrassed them. So that's who Mikey is. He kind of grew up in a house all alone. Everybody loved him, but nobody would be with him. And it's kind of the way it's happening now. That's what this whole thing on YouTube has triggered, so many emotions from childhood. And people don't realize that. And that's actually where the anger comes from, because how dare you bring up all this anger, all this resentment, all this childhood stuff over a 243-gram toy. That's what has gotten me so angry. Now,
because there is a slight change, obviously, in terms of back we'll call it pre-FAA. So, but before the big fine and everything, there was obviously an even larger than life Mikey. So now what we see on screen is a little bit more of you in entertainment mode. You're there, of course. I'm different on screen than I am. I'm very boring off screen. Some people say I'm boring on screen, but hey, keep that to the comments below, please. But yeah, so the Mikey we see now on screen is a little bit more of you than necessarily the character that we used to see.
Yes, Sean, and also if you watch my videos, I know a lot of us don't watch them from beginning to end, but if you watch, sometimes I'll start off as just normal Michael. I go into wowzers, oh we think I put on the show at a 12, and then you'll see at the end I come right back down to normal Michael again. And then of course we have to add Stu in just for that little bit of comedy, tell everybody go F themselves, and I don't even know where that came from. Just, I said it once, everybody liked it, so we kept saying it. It doesn't mean anything. I'm not cursing anybody out. Please, everybody understand that. It's just a joke. And if you can't laugh at yourself today, please just change the channel, because that's who I am. I laugh at myself. I laugh at you. And not that I take the whole joke the whole world is a joke. No, that's not what I'm saying. But when I'm in this mode, it's pure entertainment, and that's what it's
It's
about.
content, isn't it? It's content as well. So yeah, absolutely. So
Sure.
you are a recreational flyer of drones, and you enjoy sharing that content online. Obviously, there's a good amount of comedy mixed in there as well,
Yes,
and you share that with your audience on YouTube. What came first? Was it the channel or the drones? Were you flying drones first, and you decided I'm going to do a drone channel, or did you already have a channel and then
wow,
drones
great.
came into it?
No, drones came first. 2016, I bought my first drone. It was the Mavic Pro. And Sean, and also you have to understand it relates to my story. I was 600 pounds plus, 600 plus pounds, and was basically on my deathbed. That's where PhillyDroneLife came from almost 6 years ago. I was ready to die. Long story short, I wound up getting gastric bypass, and the doctor said, hey, you got to pick up a hobby. You can't take food as a hobby anymore. You're not going to be able to eat, so you got to start doing something. That Christmas, Sharon bought me the Mavic Pro. From that day, I literally have never stopped flying. And it got me out of the house. It literally saved my life, like a lot of you guys out there. I know you all have the same story. Also, I'm in recovery for food addiction, but also drug addiction, 22 years. So the drones really keep me active, keep my brain moving, and it just gets me out of the house.
Okay.
So the drones came first, absolutely
Okay, cool.
came first. And then I realized everybody was sharing their stuff on YouTube. Hell, let me share. So I started doing live streams. That was the pre-FAA, live from the drone. And that's where a lot of the fines.
Yeah, which we'll come on to now.
Yeah.
Talking about your flying, and you
Yes.
know, I've taken you to task before about things that I don't like about your flying. I mean, I've never called you out on air or anything on that type of thing. We've always had our little chats. We often enjoy the fact that we are very different people in terms of, you know, following the rules and that type of thing.
Right.
But your style of flying that you undertake seems to be sort of almost happily in defiance of the drone regulations. Was that an intentional tactic behind your channel? Did you say,
only you could say that. Only a Brit could put that so nicely.
I mean, is that actually an intentional tactic behind your channel? Did you set out to be Mikey the controversial flyer?
Oh my God, no. Oh my God. I mean, that was, my whole life has been controversial. The last thing I wanted to do was, it's just who I am, though. So let me just say, let me answer that. Do I fly purposely? Look, I'm going to break all the rules. Absolutely total opposite. When I fly the drone, I think of nothing other than entertainment. I understand that this drone can't hurt anybody, and that could be, we can argue that later, but at a 243 grams, it could fall out of the sky, hit you on the freaking head, and you're going to get a bump, but I don't think you're going to die. That's if it all happens. But anyway, I've come to the conclusion that that drone can't hurt anybody, and therefore, I fly that drone and do pretty much anything I want to do with it. Anything. Now, bearing within the flight characteristics of the drone, because I have so much experience flying and so many flights, I do understand what they do, how their batteries last, how long what they can handle, where their line is, how far you can push them. So, you know.
Okay. That's a good answer. Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Sorry for going on.
No, dude, this is your interview. You go on.
I know. But it does look like that, Sean, that Michael, look, I'm going to break all the regulations. No, I don't say, okay, this flight is going to be about breaking regulation 6, regulation 4. No, I just put on the show and go on to the next video. That's it. I don't even think about it.
Prior to receiving the proposed fines from the FAA, your content, as you mentioned before, focused around live drone flights, often flying things like range tests or flying around Philadelphia, showing the sights and sounds, etc. Why did you choose live streams to be one of the main sort of corners of your content back then? Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question. And this is, you're going to love this answer. Ease. Simple and ease, guys. That's why we do it, right? No editing, no nothing. You take your drone out, you go make the video, 80 people come in to watch me, bing, bang, boom, I leave it up, there's no editing, it's done, everybody loved it, the chat's in, whee, next video. It was just so easy. And Sean, I don't know how to edit. I didn't know how to do anything on the computer. So it was my only option at that time. As times move on, you learn, because you realize, hey, people are watching this. I want to give them better content. So I invested time into myself and learned how to edit, and I'm still learning. It's a process. I'm learning more about the cameras, just about the whole thing. And it's funny because in learning all that and becoming more professional, I'm actually being more what's the word, Sean? I'm actually following more regulations and following the rules a little bit more now, because the costs are a little higher now. And I'm going to stop at that, but we'll get more into it.
Absolutely. Okay. Were you contacted by the FAA prior to receiving the fines? Were the proposed fines the first time that you'd ever heard from the FAA regarding your flying?
Yeah, as you mentioned this question, I'm starting to get hot already, and this is now you're getting into some serious shit. Yes, and the next part of me wants to scream at the camera because, and I'm sorry for saying the name, and I don't want to call anybody out, but Ken Herron, who has a big following, went on a live stream and proceeded to really hurt me and start to say, guy's an asshole. You get 120 calls. Who ignores 120 calls from the FAA? Screw that idiot. He deserves what he got. That's not what happened. Nobody called me 120 times, 100 times, even 10 times. That's not how it went. I got a phone call. I replied to the phone call. I complied with everything they want. As far as how many phone calls before the proposed fine, 3.
Okay.
Maybe 4.
Okay.
But I'm going to say under 5.
Okay, cool.
So that nobody catches me in a lie.
How about any other authorities or law enforcement? Had you had any contact from local law enforcement or state or federal or?
How about let's just keep going, because I've had them all here at the house.
Universal.
Hey, everybody's been here for coffee in the kitchen. That's where the trolls come in, guys. I don't want to scare anybody out there. If you're new to flying drones, enjoy yourself, please. If you have a troll and they don't like you, throw your drone away. Because basically that's what was done to me. They didn't like me. They called the FBI, the CIA, the SCC, the FWB, and every other letter organization that's known to man was at this house checking me, my drones, my house, which I didn't have to do that, but I welcomed them in. You don't need a warrant here. Come on in. I welcomely showed them everything I had, and we sat and had coffee.
Okay.
FBI, CIA,
yeah.
Ninja people, everything.
Yeah. So you had the FBI visit you and want to talk to you about your drone flying, etc. And as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, it was to assess you as a risk from the point of view that that they from their point of view, they just wanted to know, this guy flying drones around a city center, what is he doing? Does he have little items to drop things from the drones and that type of thing? So they wanted to meet you and see your drones and just
this was a positive thing. This was so hey, listen, don't get me wrong. I'm very angry when somebody comes into your space.
Of course.
After the anger passed, it actually helped me, because by meeting all these authorities, they knew instantly I ain't no threat. I'm a clown. An older man, nice guy, but I'm just laughing, just trying to have a good time. Shook hands, they laughed. So actually, it worked to my benefit. By calling everybody known to man, I'm now introduced to everybody known. The Philadelphia Police Department, the bigger state, the DOC, the I mean, come on. This went as high as almost the president of the United States for a toy. This is what got me, and I know we disagree with some things here, mate, but this is what got me upset, that you would wreck a person's life. I had the wife leave. I've had financial and I'm not looking for any, I don't want any, help me, mate.
Yeah, you're not trying to give a sympathetic.
Correct, sympathetic. I don't want sympathetic. I'm just saying what happened. There was a lot of negative that came from this. I almost lost my family. My mother won't talk to me. Today, still, I'm having problems from this. Forget about the financial part. I'm talking about the other part, the stuff that really matters.
The life part, yeah.
I lost it all.
Okay.
over a toy, guys, over a toy that is sold at Kmart. There's no instructions. There's no license. You don't need a license to fly a Mini 2. There's nothing on the box. There's none of that. So I'm sorry. I know we disagree with all that, but that's where my anger and look, he's laughing because he wants to just rip me in the soul. I'm sorry, guys.
Hey, no, it's widely reported that in October 2019, the FAA sent you a warning letter, and then they followed up with what they term as counselling and education regarding requirements for safe drone operation. What did that actually consist of? What does it mean when the FAA gives you counselling and education?
Guys, they're not, if they're watching this, they're not going to like it, but I am very, very sorry. They didn't have a clue, guys. Not a clue. The counseling consists of him telling me it was counseling, and that's it. He just read the charges that were to me, didn't know any of the rules, and I would try to argue back. I'm sorry, sir. I said, whenever you're within 400 feet of a structure. Now, you got to understand, the rules were a little bit different at the time of these. At that time, if you were 400 feet, you were allowed to go above 400 feet. Sean, he didn't know anything about that. This man did not know one rule about drones, not one. So it made me feel like, oh my God, he's schooling me, but I'm telling him the rules. What kind of programming? What's going on here? So at that point, I lost a lot of respect. I mean, right from the get-go, total respect for the FAA, because they didn't have a clue. Here they're making all these rules that they didn't even know what the rules were. How do you follow a rule? You don't even know what it is.
And was this as they term it, counselling and education? Was that in person or was it over the phone?
No, over the phone. And again, like, now that was done a couple times, not just once. Obviously, when the second one came, now they got to bump it up. So I went to his guy. That guy knew a little bit more, because after telling the first guy, what the hell, man, the second guy schooled up a little bit. So when he called me, he knew, he had all the in front of him. He was reading right from a paper.
Okay. So and the type of thing he was talking to you about was obviously the type of violations that they're concerned that that you may have done, and how to avoid them, that type of thing. Was it that kind of thing, or was it literally just running through a list of what you've done wrong?
Well, all it was a list of what I'd done wrong and what I'm supposed to do right, and basically not fly the drone there. And I'll go a step further, mate. When it went up and I was talking to the actual woman at the DOJ, she literally said that all drones should be flown in parks, FAA parks or FAA parks.
The freer type. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know, where you join the group to be a part of that. Forget the name of that.
Yeah, the AMA parks. Yeah.
AMA, right. And so, and I said to her, excuse me, it's a drone. It's a camera drone. They're not meant to fly in circles. They're meant to capture the beauty of the world. Well, I'm sorry, Michael. You know, that's where you need to be flying. So they're literally closed-minded. They don't want to hear it. Go fly in a park, around in circles. Next. That's it. That's
interesting.
As far as it goes with that.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. So the proposed fines, $182,000. How did you find out about that? Did you get an email? Did you get a knock at the door?
The way you find out about things like that, Sean, you might want to block this out, okay? But you get these tapes, and whenever you see this tape, that means in order to get this paper, you got to sign for it. So it's basically certified mail that you literally feel special. Oh, I'm all special. They come with a big envelope. You got to sign your name for it, and that's how it comes. So when I opened that, I obviously fell to the floor. A little bit of a booklet and proposed $182,000. And Sean, before we get into any of that, I want to let you know it's total bullshit, guys. There are things there that I should be fined for. I will admit that. But flying in the rain when the ground's wet, because the ground's wet doesn't mean it's raining. And even if it was raining, there's no rules, not even in the book, that say you can't fly in the rain or on when the ground is wet. So a lot of the fines, in my opinion, were blown up to just try to make it look bigger.
I think where some of the confusion comes from on this as well, and this is just me interjecting slightly, so tell me to shut up. But where some of the issue comes here is, of course, we have this whole thing of, you know, recreational flyer and Part 107 flyer. And of course, what a lot of people don't realize, of course, is that all drone flight is Part 107 flights. Every drone flight, whether if you're flying recreationally, of course, you're flying under the recreational hobbyist exemption. So essentially, you are saying, by the fact that I'm flying this as a recreational pilot, I'm now exempt to a lot of the 107 criteria.
Okay.
If they find that you're not flying recreationally, so they feel that actually you are in breach of that exemption, they will then come down on you with all the other ones. And there are things like, you know, ensuring that you're flying in good weather and that type of thing, which the 107 pilots do have to adhere to. So, and because I've had that with other people that have had fines where they say, okay, actually I'm confused because I'm recreational and now I'm being fined as if I'm a 107 pilot. And it's actually because once that goes away and once you've breached that exemption, you're then 107.
I'll tell you to shut up now in a nice way, with lots of love, because you're too smart. I can't go head to head with him, guys. But let me just say that's where a lot of the confusion came for me as well, because in the fines, they fined me. Let's just pick a number. Let's say there was 10 fines. 5 of them were because you're not a 107, and the other 5 were because you're a 107. So pick one. Am I a 107 or am I not a 107? And fine me for either one. That's what they did. They fined me for both, and which led me to believe, along with a lot of other very smart and rich people, that this was a setup. This was just using a guy that couldn't fight back as, hey, community, watch what you're doing with your drones.
Okay.
Because this is what could happen. At least that's my opinion.
So you feel that this because it was multiple violations per flight. Each of those violations are around $1,500.
Every single one.
And then they all add up to the 182 banner figure.
Yeah, so for one flight, I could have had like a $10,000 flight because the ground was wet. I went above 400, and I flew over crowds of people. One person.
Okay.
You know, so there you go. That's
but you feel that your opinion, which of course you're perfectly entitled to your opinion, is that it was more of a PR thing from the point of view of using your story as publicity in terms of, as you're saying, fly your drone safely, or this will happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the proof is in the pudding. The DOJ asked me for every single bit of my income, bank accounts, credit cards, anything I had. I mean, they literally wanted from 10 years back, any money I made. So I gave it to them. And right after I gave them all that information, do you know what they asked for? More. I says, what do you want? You got everything for 10 years. Well, we want to take a look. I said, no problem. Do you want another 10 years? We'll go back 20. She never answered me from that point on. I then continued to email her and ask her, can I give you $20 a week? I know it's 180 grand, but hey, it's something. It's all I can afford. I'd like to give something. Nothing.
Okay.
So at this point.
Okay, we'll come back to that in a second as well. So you've removed many of the live stream flights from your channel. Was this at the request of the FAA? And if not, why did you decide to do that?
Why did I really say that? That hurts, man. That hurts because, you know, guys, this is my full-time job. This is what I do for a living. This is how I make my money. About $300 a month, which I am proud of. But anyway, releasing all them videos hurt me as a channel. It hurt me as how hard I would work. I released them and got rid of them, and because I didn't want to smack them in the face. I felt as though it's, you know, guys, I'm a good person. I was an altar boy. You know, so as much as what you see on television is just what you see for that little thing. That's not who I am as a human being. As a human being, I felt as though, hey, they thought this is wrong. So just out of just being good, if they thought it was wrong and I got a fine, maybe I shouldn't have it there. So I took it down.
Okay.
For whatever reason.
Okay.
And my channel lost 1.5 million views and dropped it. And it took me another year to build where I'm up right now. So it just me off that I have to keep going backwards. But that's my own personal shit I have grown from.
Okay. Those flights which you've now taken down from the channel, those live stream drone flights, do you feel they were dangerous? Do you concede that they were in violation of regulations? And obviously I'm using a very provocative word there, dangerous, which I know, is also there's a very wide scope to that word as well, but I'll let you take your own sort of judgment from it. But do you feel that they were dangerous? Do you concede that there were violations of the regulations in those flights?
Well, two different questions.
Absolutely.
Here. I think dangerous and regulations, two different questions. As far as did I break regulations, I think I can answer. That's pretty easy to answer. Yeah, according to their regulations, yeah, I broke them according to their regulations. Some of them, not all of them, but yeah, there's some. You'd have to go through each and every one. I ain't going to sit here and say I didn't. Of course, it's common sense. My telemetry says 401. You can only go 400. You broke a regulation, right? But it's all the other things, mate. The ground's wet. You flew in bad weather. Oh, well, we called the weather station. It said rain today, but it's sunny. I mean, come on. That me off. That's I don't care if the rain, if you called the weather station and they said pouring rain. It's sunny out. Look. But that's what they went on. If it said rain that day and you had a flight, you flew rain, $1,500. It's bullshit. They used me as a pawn. I'm a low-hanging fruit that couldn't do anything about it. I have nobody to help me, nobody to protect me, no money to stand up for me, nothing. So hey, let's throw the fucking world at them, and everybody else will be scared to death. And it worked. Hey, Sean, did you see how many channels took down? Do you see after that how many people? Oh, no videos.
We don't see many live stream videos, certainly, but it used to be a much more popular thing, didn't it, to live stream your flights?
No more drone channels. They're all gone now. What happened? All 107 pilots that all of a sudden that were putting me down, all of a sudden on their chase, now that all their drone videos are gone.
And
you know who you are, guys.
To clarify on the weather side of things, you're close enough to Philadelphia Airport that basically they were using the METAR service from the airport to say, which obviously is the service that tells the aircraft, etc., the airlines coming in, what weather to expect. So it was that service that they were using in terms of insisting what the weather was. Now, one interesting question here is, of course, and this is something which obviously comes up an awful lot for people who have a monetized channel and fly their drones. But did the FAA ever discuss monetization of your channel with you? Did that subject ever come up?
Oh, absolutely. Just like we hear on YouTube, they basically said, because I'm posting my stuff on YouTube, well, I'm a 107 pilot at that point, and therefore you need to be fined as a 107 pilot. Okay, fine. But they not only find me as a 107, they find me for hobbyist too. So they just kind of threw both of them at it. So, Sean, listen, this is where we really separate here. So we won't go head to head, but I feel like 90% of these regulations are such that they don't even know what they are. And at that point, I'm sorry, my future in PhillyDroneLife will be on a mini drone, a sub 250 drone. That's the future. That's where PhillyDroneLife's going. And I will be flying until they're illegal to fly, period. I don't care about trolls. I don't care who calls my house or comes here. That drone was sold to me at Kmart, and I'm flying it. Until they change the rules, and which I think is coming, Sean. Britain has done it, Canada. I mean, come on. They've all realized that a sub 250 drone, it can even be flown over people and out of line of sight now in Canada. So I think they're coming. I think we're getting there. And so, hey, you know, I know we disagree with a lot of that, but I just want to see people enjoying themselves out there. Now, with the dangerous, let me just cover that one word, dangerous. I do feel when I did some of these flights with the bigger drones, at that point, looking back on it now, I can see, because I'm a little bit more a professional now, we can use that word, and I'm looking at different everything, I would say that some of them flights scare me. And if you notice, I'm not doing a lot more with the Mavic 3 or my bigger drones. You're not seeing them uptown. You're not seeing them around the buildings. The only time I'm going up in Center City is with that mini drone.
Okay.
Because it scares me now. I think just from everybody looking at it, it's blown it up, and it's made me really look tight. And here's the thing: I still think it ain't going to hurt anybody, but I don't want to take that chance. You understand?
But you feel that the Mini 3 or Mini 2, whichever sub 250, or the Otto Nano, you feel that they are less dangerous dropping out the sky, basically, and or having, or you know, I say dropping out the sky. Who has drones drop out the sky? But of the incidents that can happen, especially when out of line of sight, you feel that sub 250 that there is minimal risk, essentially.
So minimal they shouldn't even be looked at. There's more risk in a flock of pigeons.
Okay. Where are we now? Have you negotiated a settlement with the FAA? I know you were talking before about the DOJ going backwards and forwards with your financials and that type of thing. Where are we now in terms of these fines? Have the FAA indicated what they want to move forward to become confirmed fines? Because of course we're in the proposed stage, or where are we?
Good question. Great question. That's wonderful. And hence why it's taken me 2 years to make a video, guys. And I want to address that. There were people, even a guy in Florida, you know who you are, you're a snake, who were calling and texting other people and emailing, wanting a firm answer to my case. And he broke regulations, and damn it, we need to know what you're doing about it. This was a guy who all of a sudden doesn't have a drone channel anymore, 107 Pilot. I don't want to mention your name because I don't want you to have one more subscriber, but you are a piece of crap. Anyway, so where are we at? Nobody's gotten back with me. It's over 2 years. I've emailed them to try to settle something. But here's where we're at, and this is my opinion. They asked me for all my income, checking accounts, bank accounts, everything for the last 10 years. I gave it to them. Guess what my sole amount is, what my full worth is here at Philly Drone Life?
1.5 million.
It's close, Sean, but zero. Therefore, what could they get? And that's why I think where I am, where I'm at. So please don't misunderstand this. Don't think you can break all the rules and you're going to get nothing. The reason I got nothing is because I have nothing at this point. That's it. If you have something, they will take it. I guarantee it. So please don't be misunderstanding. If they could have took something from me, I believe they would have.
Okay.
But I don't know nothing. So they didn't.
Okay.
So I don't want people to think they could get away with going crazy like PhillyDroneLife did. And look, he didn't get nothing. I got 2 years of torture, guys. Family torture. And I didn't get it because I don't have anything.
Okay, but they haven't officially released you. They haven't officially released you yet or anything. They've just gone quiet basically. When was the last time you heard from them?
Jordan's over a year ago.
Right.
It's over a year ago. So I don't know if there's a statute of limitations. I don't know. But I'll tell you, if there is a lawyer out there and anybody would like to do a pro bono case, I could really use help because there is real damages here. I know, oh, but you did something wrong. Well, let's go to a lawyer. Let's talk it out to a lawyer because they used me as a freaking pawn. If you're going to find me for doing something wrong, great. Find me for the things that I did wrong and we'll go down that road. But to just keep making things up because you wanted a big headline, I'm sorry, man. I don't agree with that.
How would you, but then conversely, and I completely understand how you feel, but turning that round slightly, how would you feel though if they had come after you and for the violations that you feel you are, I don't want to say the word guilty, but for the violations which you feel were fair, what if they did fine you for those? You would then be under financial pressure now as well. Surely, if it is an outcome where they are taking nothing from you and they're not banging your door down, etc. Surely that's a better outcome than being hit with actual fines.
I got proposed fines of 180. They were just proposed. I mean, how do you, the reason I feel like they proposed them is because they want to see what you're worth. When they propose something, they then have to get, okay, what do you own? What do you have? Well, they looked into that with Mikey and they found out Mikey's sole worth is a 00. So they figured, hey, what are we going to get from this guy? We can't get anything, and drones ain't illegal to fly. So what do we do? What do we do? We'll just torture him. We'll use him as a scapegoat. We'll get the headline, and everybody else will stop. It worked, Sean. Hey, you cowards out there to close your channels down. You're a coward.
What response did you get from your audience to this? I know that you did in the beginning. You did a live stream to talk about the issue and to let people know, because of course the good old Chinese whispers of the drone hobby and the drone sort of YouTube community, it sort of spread like wildfire. You know, I got to hear over here in the UK about 10 minutes after you got the letter, I think.
It's funny you mention that, because I never addressed that, and thank you for giving me that opportunity. Right away after it was proposed, and I went on, and oh my God, I think I did take that video down, because I was just screaming and cursing. It was all a reaction video is what it was. It wasn't thought, it was literally just going crazy immediately after I found out, which was wrong to do. However, after that video, I started getting a lot of donations coming in, and I think people thought that, let me change that. I don't think they thought anything, but they just wanted to help out. Hey, you're getting fined 182 grand. Here's $50, man. Put it toward it. Help yourself out. But I didn't get fined anything. I did take the money because, like I said, this is my full-time job. It's what I do for a living. And what I did was continue to make videos. And so, I do feel guilty about that people were giving me money and that I didn't pay a fine with it. It's like I didn't know what to do. I held the money I had total, when it was all done, almost $1,000 that was donated from the community. It was like $900. And I kept it there just in case they would say, hey, we'll take 1,000, just something. And I held it. And it's 2 years later, and nobody ever said anything. So I used it for PhillyDroneLife as usual. I do want to say that I do want to thank everybody for that. But yeah, so people are so kind, Sean, so kind. I mean, if they could, they would have paid. That was half of them. Half of them would have paid the fine. And then there was the other half wishing me death and that my family should die. And that if I know where you live, I mean, literally threats of death, persecution, we're burning your children. I mean, that over a toy, guys. And that, I'm sorry, I blame on the FAA. I know you blame on yourself, and I do take responsibility. Let me take that back. It is my fault, okay? All right. I put it out there. I put myself out there in social media. I did it. So, hey, you get what you get. I got to stop doing that. Ain't nobody's fault other than me. I'm the one that put the stuff out there. I just want people to know that I'm not a bad person, man. I just fly a toy that I really enjoy flying. A really nice toy too. It's got a great camera, and I love it. It makes me feel alive, and I want to share that with the freaking world. And if there's something wrong with that, then so be it. Put me in jail and throw away the key, because that's what I'll be doing the rest of my life. I love sharing joy with others. I feel like it's the best medication on earth. This drone is wonderful.
Now, this is something we might fall out over. Some would say that you got what you wanted. The flights were intentionally crazy to drive views and attention to your channel. The FAA proposed fines and all the attention it brought only gave you more of what you want. Now you continue to fly in a similar kind of way. You're out of line of sight and across the city. I know you're saying you're doing it with a light drone and everything else like that, but how would you respond to that? Is it not what you wanted?
It is definitely not what I wanted. In fact, some would even say that because of this, my channel blew up. The guy in Florida actually thinks because of the FAA problem, I grew. Total opposite. Because of the AAA problem, I lost as a channel. Because if the FAA didn't bother me, dude, I was getting 80 and 90 people in on live streams. If I would continue to do the live streams, my channel will be at 50,000 from now, just from flying a drone on a live stream. So that's bull. In fact, I lost a lot because people were upset at me. They didn't want to. So it has been very, very hard to grow since then. But thank God that my followers do get me now. I have 8,000 fans. And I love them. They love me. They understand me, and that's the kind of subscribers I want. Did I get what I want? No, I didn't get what I want. Did I get what I deserve? That's a good question. I mean, I do believe in rules, Sean. So when you break a rule, you should be fine.
Okay.
Rules are here. So
what? And again, you're gonna hate me at some point in this interview, but hey, that's where
I notice the questions are getting a little harder.
That's where that's where the good interviews lay, frankly. Let's say something else happened, okay? Because of course this did hit the worldwide headlines. You were on Forbes.com. You were, you were mentioned here in the UK news. Everywhere.
And it's funny because I only got 8,000 subs. Boy,
yeah.
Forbes magazine.
Yeah, indeed. Well,
only 8,000. Boy, but this blew me up.
What if that had happened and actually flocks of people had come to you and you were sat there now with 100,000 subscribers?
Oh,
would you then say, I'm happy I got fined?
I probably would. I'm sorry. I gotta be. Do you want me to lie to you?
No, I want you to be honest, brother. Yeah.
I am being 100% honest. If that would have happened, you know how I would have felt? I'll tell you how I would have felt. I would have felt that all the pain and suffering that they put me through would have been worth it. Because I went through a hell of a lot of shit for some of the things that here's what, Sean. When you do a crime, here's the penalty. I feel like you did a crime, and here was the penalty. And it's just not the way things are. When you do something, you should get that. If you do this, but if you do this, you don't get penalized like that, and that's how I feel. So based on that, 100 grand, I'd have been happy.
Okay, so fine, excellent. That's good. That's honest. Thank you. Now
I'm being honest. Not the right answer, but
there's a word that's coming into my videos sometimes when I'm talking about drone rules and different bits and pieces, which my viewers of my channel will recognize, and that word is society. Okay, and we live in a society where we depend on each other to in general to follow the rules. So when I get up in the morning, I put my trousers on, my big boy trousers on, I go out and I drive my car. I am relying on my fellow man and woman to follow the general rules of society so that we can all get through our day and earn our money and
die
yeah. What is it about the drone rules that makes you feel that you can step outside of that sort of society bond, I would call it, and violate them and continue to violate them, even though of course you've had these proposed fines before?
Great question, and totally on the very fair question. Well, first of all, what you just described is Great Britain or maybe some other country. You didn't describe the United States. Where I live, everybody's running around like crazy animals, breaking every single rule known to man. Nobody stops at red lights unless people are looking. If they're not looking, red light just means go. That's the way it is here. I'm sorry if you don't like that, but it is the way it is here in the United States. Doesn't mean it's right. But now, based on that, Sean, I just think the rules for a sub 250 drone are so wrong. Here's what the rules should be: no crowds, no stadiums, no highways, no bridges. Everything else is fair game. That, in my head, that's what I believe. That's how it is in other places. So yeah, I don't believe there's any problem with a sub 250 gram. I'm sorry if that makes sense.
So you feel that sub 250 gram drone, actually you're not breaching your bond with your fellow members of society because you feel like actually I'm not putting you at risk. Okay.
Correct. I'm not putting you at risk. Okay. But with the bigger drones, I didn't before. I have changed. And if you notice, Sean, even my FPV drone, I go down to the river now. I'm afraid to do ripping rooftops. That's what I did. And I loved it. It's so cool. But then I started to think, I weighed the drone. I mean, it's just a matter of thinking. And now I'm even saying in my videos, have common sense. Please, guys, think. Because the hobby takes you over, bro. It gets you so excited. I know with me, I get so excited when I fly. Sometimes I forget. You forget a rule or you forget a regulation, especially when they're so freaking hard to remember and slot C, A, B, C, dash. Come on. No flying in stadiums, no fly over people, don't go over a freaking bridge, and no fly in highways. Done. Okay. Easy to remember.
It's good. Thank you. And again, thank you for answering. Again, as you can see from both our faces during this interview. I haven't told Mikey what these questions are. He hasn't told me, don't talk about this, do talk about this, etc. So we're both just as worried about every question that pops out of my mouth as each other, frankly, which is, I think, is making this a little bit more of the honest interview that we both wanted. And I know when we spoke about this, you said, I don't want it to be a BS thing. I want this to be the real situation, the real Mikey, which I feel like we are getting there. So thank you.
Sean, the reason I haven't made a video is twofold. 2 years. First of all, I was waiting. It takes forever for the country to do things, especially the DOJ. So I figured, let me wait. I mean, how stupid would I have looked to come forward and go, hey, I didn't get a fine, and then the next day have a $100,000 fine? So you just want to be quiet. You don't want to throw things in people's faces. So that's what I've been doing.
Okay.
But now it's 2+ years, and I thought it was okay to say, hey, this is where we're at. So far, so good. My life ain't being destroyed financially, but then again, it's really hard to destroy a financial life of somebody who has no.
Okay, I understand.
I think that's where we're at.
Yeah. So, and that was one of the topics that I wanted to address with you, from the point of view that, you know, and I saw your eyes light up when I said, what if this situation had given you 100,000 subs? You know, because I know Mikey from the point of view it's a truthful answer, because you do want to be a star. If you woke up tomorrow and had 1 million subs, your life is complete. You push forward, and you hopefully achieve the things you want to achieve in life.
No, stop right there. If I woke up tomorrow and had 100,000 subs and was rich, I'd probably die, because I'm not ready for it.
Okay.
And there you go. This is where the growth that I've been saying, that slowly but surely I am learning. I am getting better just as a person, and I'm growing with it. So who knows? Maybe I'll be working for Part 107. Come get your license. 107 license. You know what I mean? Whatever that.
Now that's an advert I'd like to see. So yes. Is that why you haven't spoken much about the fines on your channel? Because literally, as you're saying, you know, you didn't want to have that situation, and of course, you know, you're in constant negotiations with these people. You don't want to be on a live stream and say, hey, you know, the FAA, and then the next day they're on the phone to you talking to you about your fines.
And,
you know,
and hold on, guys, I did do that, and I'm sure you'll find it in a video. For 2 or 3 videos, maybe longer, I was losing it. I mean, there was so much anger. You don't have to understand, but the wife left, the kids were cursing, the mother, hey, I told you to get rid of them drones. And I'm going home to an empty house all over this drone. You're damn straight. I'm cursing F the FAA and every other. I'm your mother, your sister's asses. I've grown since then. Hey, you're angry, go punch a pillow, but get it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe screaming F the FAA wasn't the greatest thing or the right thing to do. I probably shouldn't have did it, but I did it. It's past. It's not a crime, guys. Just to let you know. That's the other thing I want you to cover. Crimes, regulations, and illegal. I hate that word. You know, hey, you're flying illegal. It's not illegal. If you want to say breaking a regulation, go ahead, say it. But once you start saying something's illegal, you're now calling me a criminal. And that's a line I have to put up. Not over a toy. I'll throw them all away tomorrow. Okay. I didn't come this far in my life to be a criminal over a freaking drone.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, although of course there is legislation moving through, isn't there, that could make it criminal. But anyway, that's a whole other video coming up on Geeksvana.
That'll make it easy for me, Sean. That'll make things real easy. I just sell them all.
Yeah, well, that's actually my next question. Okay, so drones. You've been a drone YouTuber now for a little while. Your drones and comedy. I would say probably in equal measures. Yeah. You know, people are attracted to your channel from the point of view of seeing Mikey and having a laugh with Mikey as much as they are talking to you about drones, because no one can say you don't know about drones. You
correct. And what I don't do,
know the aircraft.
And what I don't do, guys, is do a drone video of beautiful surroundings and put music to it. That's what I don't do. So I am 100% different. And that's all I wanted to be, is just different.
Have you ever considered putting down the drone and doing something else on YouTube?
Oh my God. Thank you. Show me how to do it. Somebody show me how to do it. My goal on YouTube is to get rid of the PhillyDroneLife part out of my name. It is what stuck. I'd like to be Philly's life, just Philly's life, and do on a park bench. hey guys, today we're going to go visit the Liberty Bell and have you guys cracking up with people. And that's what I would like to do. And then maybe throw a little drone at the end, some drone, a picture from above.
Yeah, you use the drones as a tool within it rather than the focus type of thing.
Correct.
So, okay.
And that's all I do now, Sean. My drone is used as a prop. If you notice when I do my show, okay, Mikey, here I come. The drone's moving. That's me moving the controller over to Stu. That's real. So the drone's moving. So I try to use the drone as a prop to put on our little show. Look at you looking like, what is he doing? I make money with these things. I use it as a tool to... That's not what I do. I don't want to do that. This is what I do. This is what I want to do.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on to the next question. There was a lot written about you following the 182,000 proposed fines. A lot, as I was saying, Forbes.com and all sorts of different things. And there was a lot of videos made about your situation as well from other channels and creators.
Yeah, of course. Everybody trying to get the views in. So,
of those articles and the content, how many of those people reached out to you and talked to you about it and discussed it with you before they made that content? One. Okay.
Hi Estela, which I would have to say is probably got the most class out of everybody. Now it's just, I don't know him personally, but what I do know is he did ask me. But what I think is that he was just asking me to get all the information so he could write a great story. Nobody talks to me now. This is the way I feel, is that they just used me as a great story. Everybody tried to capitalize on it. It's YouTube, right? Entertainment.
So you had everything going off around you, Forbes.com, videos, you had everything, all of this, media circus essentially erupting around you. How did that make you feel?
Wow. Good question. You would think you would like it, but I didn't. I didn't like the way it made me feel, Sean, because, well, let me be 100% honest. I liked some of the attention. Let's be honest. I liked the attention that people wanted to know me. Like, that was great and all, but I didn't like that it was negative, because nobody wants to be known for doing something in a negative way. I wanted to be known for my good flying of a drone, some of the piloting skills. I didn't want to be known for, that's the guy that got a $182,000 fine. No, that's the guy that chases trains, and oh my God, it's amazing. And he rips around the top of the building. That's what excites me. That's what I want to give to the audience. And so that's what I want to be known for. So that part of it wasn't good at all.
Okay, so it felt uncomfortable then, having that much sort of media attention. Waking up each day and there's another new video about you. There's another story about you.
But hold on. Also, understand, I wasn't involved in this, Sean. Media and all is all new to me, so I wasn't on all the forums. All I was getting was other people telling me, "Hey, did you see that thing?" And it's like, "No, oh, dude, man." You don't even want to read it. And that's it. That's as much as I would hear about any other little thing. I went on to YouTube and it seemed like everybody, I was the butt of a joke, how stupid I was. And these are the same guys doing exactly the same thing. The only difference was they ain't posting it. So, okay, so, and my whole thing with that is, and I'll shut up with it, but hey, listen, if you go into a store and you steal a candy bar and get caught, you're a thief. You got caught. But if you go into a candy store and you steal a candy bar and you don't get caught, you're still a thief.
So speaking of others, do you feel, and YouTube and posting on YouTube, etc., do you feel any responsibility towards the people who might watch your content and decide they want to copy you? For example, someone that's new to the hobby and says, okay, well, this guy's crazy. I love this guy. I love this Mikey guy. He flies his drone way out of sight and in the city and X, Y, Z. Do you feel any kind of responsibility for those people? I mean, different creators feel different ways. So I'm genuinely interested to hear how you feel about it.
Fair question. But my God, that's an awful big responsibility to put on anybody, ain't it? No. I mean, I'm responsible for my actions, what I do. And that's pretty much it. I'm a little guy. I'm nobody. I'm no star. When this was all happening, I had 4,000 subscribers, 5,000 subscribers a couple years ago. So I'm just a guy from South Philly. So no. And if I was to be even if I was a big star, I still would say no. I don't feel responsibility because hey, if I break the law, that's me. But I'm not saying hey, you go break the law because I broke the law. That's on you.
Okay,
that's
excellent.
a lot of responsibility.
I mean, for instance, I would feel, and everybody's different, and as we've said before in this interview, and we say many times when we speak, we have very different views on things, and for me, if I post something online, I feel like only because, but again, we have very different channels. My channel talks about the drone rules, so if I suddenly started posting things that are showing me breaking the drone rules, then it's like, hang on a minute, guy, make your mind up here. So I'm also not necessarily criticizing you for it, but to me, I feel that influencers, if you want to call us that, I mean, we've both only got quite small channels. I feel that we have a responsibility to help people who are new to the hobby and that type of thing. But again,
and I may feel that way in the future.
Okay.
But right now, because that does grow into, I could see me as I get bigger, maybe feeling that way. But just kind of remember, and I'm asking everybody out there, remember where you're at and where I'm at. I'm not 100,000 subscriber. I'm not anybody that any people are looking up to. I'm just a nobody. At least that's the way I feel anyway at this point. Now, if I have 20,000, 30,000 people and I'm really making money in the hobby, I may feel differently because at that point, yeah, that's my livelihood. I just may feel differently. So, but right now, at this time.
So what you're telling me there is that at the moment, you don't feel like you've got enough of a livelihood on YouTube to need to protect it. But actually, if you were a Joshua Bardwell or someone that's, paying for the big house and, doing very, very well, etc., and is very successful in his earnings from YouTube, actually, you would be more careful because you'd want to protect that.
I would have to at that point, simply because people are out to get you all the time. Okay. And again, it's a learning experience that I'm learning. Remember what I said. I'm 56 years old, guys. I just touched a computer 2 years ago. I'm new to all this, especially social media. I had no idea you tell somebody that I couldn't take off in front of my house because people would knock on my door. Oh, hey, you want to fly? I had no idea that's the way social media was.
Okay.
I mean, so now I'm learning, and it is a learning experience.
Yeah.
So
and that last clarification there was good as well, because you were starting to come across a little bit disingenuous from the point of view of, it sounded like you were telling me that you don't care if the audience copies you unless you've got something to lose.
Oh no, that's not the way.
Okay, awesome. What message would you like to leave with people after this interview? What is the message that you would like them? If we could choose, of course, we never get to choose these things, as we know from whenever we post something.
I'm still stuck on the old question. I'm like still thinking. I'm not satisfied with it because I don't think I totally understood it. What you were trying to ask me. I'm sorry to go back to that. Can we revisit the last question, please?
Of course we can. Yeah.
Come on, let's revisit. It's really like you never asked it to me before.
And this is where the crossover of our two styles, the crossover of our two channels is interesting. Because I find myself that I feel that, and very much because of the type of content that I've created, I feel that I have a responsibility to my audience to get and that I have to represent the hobby and represent the profession.
And you're spot on.
Yeah.
You were spot on, because now I get it when you just address, because guys, I'm in the entertainment business. My videos aren't to teach you anything. They're to make you be happy, make you smile, make you just laugh and go, oh, shit. At the same time, go, wow.
Yeah. Okay.
I could fly.
But do you not? So but as you were saying, everyone's responsible for their own actions. You don't see that there is a responsibility from the point of view that your flights could influence others to break the rules, and that could obviously have an impact on the hobby within itself, which is fine. If you don't see that, and it's entertainment, and everyone is, you know,
Sean, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand the question. It's a fair question, but I believe that everybody is responsible for their own actions, and period. And so no, enjoy the content, but don't copy me. Don't. And if you do, and you get ticketed, don't blame me. That's you, pal. I've got my problems. You know what I mean? If you don't like my content, change the channel.
So, Mikey, what message do you want, if you can, to leave people with from this interview?
Wow. I guess I would just say, guys, I'm just a person. I'm a human being. I'm not out to hurt anybody. I'm a good person. I want to move past this. I want people to know I'm not out to hurt, to harm, not out to hurt the hobby. I love the hobby. And I finally get a chance to say that. For 2 years, I couldn't say it. But I love the hobby. And, I'm sorry if it put a bad aura on you guys. I do apologize for that. But it's just what I do. It's what I do, guys. I entertain. Please try to take a look at just that. And just know that if you see something that looks dangerous to you, it's a 243 grain drum. People may feel differently about things, but mostly, please don't judge me for what happened. I hate that. If you meet me and don't like me, fair enough. But to judge me over what you're hearing or what you're seeing, that hurts, man, because it's not who I am. So that's the message I would like to leave with. Give me another chance.
I mean, and I would obviously caveat that from the point of view that I feel like the rules and regulations are there for good reason, personally, and I would plead with people to please follow them, to obviously protect the hobby and everything else like that. And one of the good things about why I think this interview has been good fun is the fact that myself and Mikey are very different people. So I think it was
already you got. I want to run from you. I can just imagine flying with you. You'd be like, okay. I'd be like, Sean, I already checked the propellers. We're good. No, I gotta pull up the weather chart first to just make sure.
I find it, dude. I personally, I especially with the rules that we have here, I find it very, very simple to have a checklist and have everything ready and that type of thing. So, but that's the beauty of the hobby. There are so many people out here.
Believe it or not, listen, I actually do that. Maybe not the way you do it, but I check every prop. I make sure the battery's good. I take very good care of my batteries. My drones are treated better than my children so that nothing's bent. The cameras are clean. I mean, everything's perfect. So I really make sure that the product I'm using is in tip-top condition and constantly used and rotated. So so that the chances are limited. And I think that every pilot should. If you want to copy something, you should copy my free flight.
I want to make a comment there somewhere about you do all those checks, but then you don't think about the regulations. But okay.
I don't think about it. Right? Come on, that's not nice.
I understand. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. It's been enlightening. I think it's good to let everyone know what's actually happening.
You got the last word. No. We can't go on that, mate. Oh no. You, we can't go on that. You just put me in my place and then you want to end the show? No. Hey, listen, guys, all kidding around. Listen to the rules. No, if you don't want any freaking problems, I do agree with him. Follow regulations. You don't need the problems. I'm being honest with you. So enjoy the content. Click the like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. But don't do what I do if you want to have a nice, fun, happy, joyful. And you want your wife, too, because she's going to leave you. Trust me.
All right.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Mikey.